Harihi Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviran Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchitananda Vigraha Anadidadi Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam Chintamani Prakara Sadma Sukalpa Vriksha Laksha Vriteshu Surabhira Vipalayantam Lakshmi Sahasra Satasam Brahma Sevyamanam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Venum Kvanantam Aravindaralaya Daksham Barhavatam Samasita Buddha Sundarangam Kandarpakoti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Alola Chandra Kalasadvanamalya Vamshi Ratna Gadam Pranaya Kili Kalavilasam Shyamam Tribanga Lalitam Niyata Prakasham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasya Sakaledriya Vritimanti Pasyanti Panti Kalayanti Chiram Jaganti Andanda Chinmaya Sadujvala Vigrahasya Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Anantarupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayauvanam Cha Vedeshu Durlabham Adurlabham Atma Bhaktau Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Pantastu Koti Satavatsara Sampragamyo Vayo Ratapi Manaso Munipungavanam Sopyastiyat Trimya Vichintya Tattve Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ekopya Saura Chaitum Jagadanda Kotim Yachaktirasti Jagadanda Chayayadanta Andantarasta Paramanu Chayantarastam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yad Bhava Bhavita Diyo Manujastataiva Samprapya Rupa Mahima Sanayana Bhusha Shuktaryameva Nigama Pratitastu Vanti Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitabis Tavirya Eva Nicharupataya Kalabi Goloka Eva Nivasatya Kilatma Bhuto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadaiva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti Yam Shyama Sundaram Achintya Gunaswarupam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ramadi Murti Shukalani Amena Tishtan Nanavataram Akarod Bhuvaneshu Kintu Krishna Swayam Samabhavat Paramapumanyo Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yasya Prabha Prabhavato Jagadanda Koti Kotishvashesha Vasudari Vibhuti Binam Tad Brahma Nishkalamanantam Ashesha Bhutam Govindamadi Purusham tamaham bhajami. Maya hi yasya jagadanda satani sute traigunya tadvishaya veda vitayamana sattva valambi parasattvam vishuddha sattvam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Ananda chinmaya rasatmataya manasu ya praninam pratipalam smaratam upetya Lilaitena bhuvanani jayati ajashram Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Golokanamni nijadamni talecha tasya Devi mahesha haridama suteshu teshu Te te prabhava nichaya vihitascha yena Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Srishti stiti pralaya sadhana shakti reka Chayyeva yasya bhuvanani vibhati durga Ichanurupam api yasya chachishtate sa Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Kshiram yadadadi vikara vishesha yoga Sanjayate nahi tata pritakasti hetu Ya sambhutam apitata samupaiti karyat Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Diparchireva hidasantaramabhupetya Dipayate vivrita hetu samana dharma Yastadrikeva hicha vishnutaya vibhati Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Ya karanarnava jale bhajati sma yoga Nidram ananta jagadanda saroma kupa Adara shaktim avalambya param swamurtim Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Yasyaika nishvasita kala matavalambya Jivanti loma vilaja jagadandhanata Vishnur mahansa ihayasya kala vishesho Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Vasvanyatasma sakaleshu nijeshu teja Sviyam kiyat prakatayatyapi tattva tatra Brahmaya esha jagadanda vidhana karta Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Yat padapala vayugam vinidaya kumbha Vandve pranama samaye saganadiraja Vignan vihantu malamasya jagatrayasya Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Agnir mahi gaganamambu maruddishascha Kalastatatma manasiti jagatrayani Yasmad bhavanti vibhavanti vishanti yamcha Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Ya chakshuresha savita sakalagrahanam Raja samasta suramurti rashishya teja Yasyagyaya brahmati sambrita kala chakro Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Dharmo tapapa nichaya shutayastapamsi Brahmadikita patagavadayascha jiva Yadhatamatra vibhava prakata prabhava Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Yastvendra gopa matavendra mahusva karma Vandanurupa palabhajana matanoti Karmani nirdahati kintu cha bhakti bhajam Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Yam krodha kama sahaja pranayadi biti Vatsalya moha guru gaurava sevya bhavai Sanchintya tasya sadrishim tanumapurete Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Shriya kanta kanta parama purusha kalpatadavo Druma bhumischintamani ganamahi toyamamritam Kataganam natyam gamanam apivamshi priya saki Chittanandam jyoti param apitat ashvaryam apicha Sayatra kshirabdi shavati surabhibhyascha sumaham Nimeshardakhyo va vrajati nahi yatrapi samaya Vajashveta dvipam tamahamiha golokamitiyam Vidantaste shantakshiti viralachara katipaye. Shri Brahma Samhita ki jai. We continue with the prayers of Lord Brahma. Text 44, Devidam. So in the last verse, there was description of different regions in the creation of the Lord. And description started from the highest place, Goloka. And then they mentioned 3 other places, Devidam, Maheshdam, and Haridam. And now there will be description of these different places and their predominating deities. Text 44, Devidam. I worship the Supreme Lord Govinda, whose energy called Durga, possessing the powers of carrying out creation, maintenance and destruction, supports all the worlds, but who, being just his shadow, acts only according to his will. Jiva Goswami quotes from the Bhagavatam in order to establish the demigod's inferior role. Quote, Govinda's abode has been shown to be higher than the abodes of Durga, Shiva and Vishnu. Now in 5 verses, Govinda's superiority to the inhabitants of other abodes is shown, following the statements in the prayers of Shrutis in the Bhagavatam. Quote from Srimad Bhagavatam. Though you have no material senses, you are the self-effulgent sustainer of everyone's sensory powers. The demigods and material nature herself offer you tribute, while also enjoying the tribute offered to them by their worshippers, just as subordinate rulers of various districts in a kingdom offer tribute to their lord the ultimate proprietor of the land, while also enjoying the tribute paid them by their own subjects. In this way, the universal creators faithfully execute their assigned services out of fear of you. Srimad Bhagavatam 10, 87, 28. So the demigods, they recognize the supreme position of Krishna. Of course, at the same time, they are also worshipped from less intelligent people. And they accept this worship, but at the same time they are conscious that at the end of the day this worship is meant for Krishna, because they get their powers to give blessings and to improve the life of the people, to fulfill their desires only because of the mercy of the Lord. Here in this verse it is said that Durga is acting as a shadow of the Lord. In other words, she does not have any free will to act independently on the desire of the Lord. She's just fulfilling the desires of the Lord. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur gives the definitive statement concerning how devotees are meant to relate to Srimati Durga Devi. The word in which Brahma takes his stand and hymns the Lord of Goloka is Devidam, consisting of the 14 worlds, and Durga is the presiding deity. She is 10-armed, representing the tenfold fruitive activities. She rides on a lion, representing her heroic prowess. She tramples down Mahishasura, representing the subduer of vices. She is the mother of 2 sons, Kartikeya and Ganesha, representing beauty and success. So whoever worships Durga achieves beauty and success, but material. She is placed between Lakshmi and Saraswati, representing mundane opulence and mundane knowledge. She is armed with the 20 weapons, representing the various pious activities enjoined by the Vedas for suppression of vices. She holds the snake, representing the beauty of destructive time. Such is Durga, possessing all these manifold forms. Durga is possessed of Durga, which means prison house. When jivas, begotten of the marginal potency Tatastha Shakti, forget the service of Krishna, they are confined in the mundane prison house, the citadel of Durga. The wheel of karma is the instrument of punishment at this place. The work of purifying these penalized jivas is the duty devoted upon Durga. She is incessantly engaged in discharging the same by the will of Govinda. When luckily the forgetfulness of Govinda on the part of imprisoned jivas is remarked by them by coming in contact with self-realized souls, and their natural aptitude for the loving service of Krishna is aroused. Durga herself then becomes the agency of their deliverance by the will of Govinda.
So she becomes the helper of the devotee.
If she sees the desire that the devotee wants to make spiritual advancement, yes, she helps the devotee. If she sees that the devotee wants to forget Krishna, she is helping.
Yeah.
But then the devotee should enter into the prison house of material existence, which is called Durga. Very difficult to come out of it. And the karma is the instrument of punishment at this place, the wheel of karma. So Durga, she has 2 faces, and she will show one of the 2 faces according to the desires of the devotee. If he wants material opulence, material knowledge, material glory, she will act as Durga. If he wants to achieve Krishna, purify his existence and purify his heart from material desires, she started acting as Yoga Maya, and he started supporting the devotee with everything he needs, including opulence, but opulence for the service of the Lord, not opulence for personal sense gratification.
Yeah, which will deviate the devotee from
Yes.
devotional service.
Yes. She wants to help the devotee to make spiritual advancement. So it behooves everybody to obtain the guileless grace of Durga, the mistress of this prison house, by propitiating her with the selfless service of Krishna. The boons received from Durga in the shape of wealth, property, recovery from illness, or wife and sons should be realized as the deluding kindness of Durga. The mundane physical jubilations of Dasha, Maha, Vidya, the 10 goddesses or forms of Durga, are elaborated for the delusion of the fettered souls of this world. So if someone worships Durga, yes, he can get wealth, prosperity, he can become cured from serious diseases, or get a very nice, beautiful wife and sons. But this is not the real kindness of Durga Devi. This is rather, as Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur here is saying, deluding kindness. Why? Because the consciousness of the devotee will stay immersed in material thoughts, material activities. The real mercy of Durga Devi is the opportunity to get rid of this material prison, not to stay in the prison in a good situation.
Yeah,
So,
he'll become convinced that yes, it works, and the process of karma works. You see, I have worshipped Durga Devi and I have a comfortable life, so I don't have to go anywhere else. This is my home.
yes.
So delusion will be perpetuated in this way. And the real mercy is when you feel uncomfortable in the material world, and then you look for a solution, for a spiritual solution. That's the real mercy.
That's the real mercy. Durga worshipped by the people of this mundane world is the Durga described above. But the spiritual Durga, so spiritual Durga is Yogamaya, Lakshmi Devi, mentioned in the mantra, which is the outer covering of the spiritual realm of the Supreme Lord, is the eternal maidservant of Krishna, and is therefore the transcendental reality whose shadow, the Durga of this world, functions in this mundane world as her maidservant. So in the text itself it was said that Durga is not independent and is acting as a but who being just his shadow acts only according to his will. Acting as a shadow of the Lord follows the will, the desires, the orders of the Lord. But here Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is giving a little bit secondary view how we can perceive at the point that Durga is a shadow. She is a shadow of her spiritual origin as the spiritual Durga Devi or Yogamaya or Lakshmi Devi. So again, she is not independent, but rather she is performing her service in order to help the living entities to come out of the material world.
Just like Krishna has expansions, his potency also expands accordingly. So when Krishna expands as Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Niruddha, then Srimati Radharani expands also as Rama Devi, as Bu, Nila, Lakshmi. And then when Krishna expands as Shambhu or Shiva, then Lakshmi expands as Durga.
Okay, so that was short description of Devidam and the presiding deity of Devidam, Durga Devi, who is always acting under the orders, under the control of the Lord. Now text 45, Maheshadam. I worship the Supreme Lord Govinda, who becomes the form of Shiva, who is said to be non-different from Govinda, but who is also different because of his contact with the transformations of Prakriti, just as a milk becomes yogurt, which can be said to be non-different from its cause, but acts in a different manner. Kshiram yadi vikara vishesha yogat. The milk which becomes yogurt. Vishnu who becomes Shiva, Mahesh. Now, in order, after describing Durga or Devidam, Brahma describes Shiva or Maheshdam. We have a note 23. In Vishwanath's commentary on chapter 88 of 10th canto, it is explained that Rudra has one abode in the layer of Ahankara. Mahavishnu has his abode in Mahat Tattva, as well as in the Karana ocean. And Durga has her abode in the layer of Prakriti. However, Brihad Bhagavatamrita 1.395 says, Shiva Loka is beyond the coverings of the universe. So basically all these personalities, they have different manifestations in different places. Like Shiva is present in one of the layers of the universe, Ahankara layer, the layer of the false ego, and at the same time he is present in Shiva Loka, which is beyond material world, in the spiritual sky. And at the same time he is present as a Shiva within the universe, that very often we read in Bhagavatam, demigods go to him to pray for something, some blessing or some help. So different manifestations of the same personalities. As well, we heard about Durga. She is present in a layer of Prakriti, but at the same time she is a person. She is the wife of Shiva. So she is also present within the universe. Like that, different manifestations. That's the end of the note. In the example of milk and yogurt, only that part which illustrates cause and effect should be taken. In this world, milk changes into yogurt, but the Lord does not change into Shiva. He is unchanging. Like Chintamani, by his inconceivable energy, the Lord continues to exist as he was before, even though he also transforms into Shiva. Shiva should be considered as an effect rather than a cause, because of his association with material gunas.
So, this is one of the main tenets of Vedanta, of the Upanishads, is that the Brahman doesn't change, it doesn't transform. And transformation means degradation. Like in the material world, by the power of time, everything degrades. Therefore, we know about these 6 changes: birth, growth, existence, etc. And then they end with degradation, dwindling, and then vanishing. But Krishna and all spiritual objects, the soul, Krishna, they don't go through this. And Krishna doesn't change, he doesn't transform. His energy transforms. So when it is said that he is the cause of Shiva, it doesn't mean that he himself became Shiva, in a sense, in a material sense, that he became transformed into Shiva. No, he remained who he is. But his expansion, Shiva, because of his pastimes, his sweet will, came into existence, although they're all eternal. Everything is eternal. in order to fulfill particular task given to him by the Lord. Not like the Mayavadis say that
if you have a piece of paper and you start breaking out
cut
of it, at the end there will be nothing
there is
left.
nothing left. No. Just like Ishpanishad confirms.
Om
Om Purnamadak Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So this is confirmed by the Shruti and Smriti alike.
So that means the Lord expands, He manifests more than one form, but still He stays the complete personality. Nothing is lacking from Him because someone appeared from Him.
He doesn't diminish, He never diminishes, He always expands.
And He does not change, He stays the same.
Yes. And therefore our philosophy is the perfect philosophy because it allows Brahman to expand without being transformed through the divine Shakti of the Lord. Therefore it's called Shakti Parinamavada. Shakti transforms by Krishna's will. Krishna doesn't transform. Otherwise, the Mayavadi's proposition is called Vivartavada. And that means that actually Brahman is not the cause of anything because the world doesn't exist. He is, in a sense, the cause of Maya, but Maya doesn't exist really. You cannot say that Maya exists, you cannot say that it doesn't exist. You cannot say that both exist and doesn't exist. This is the problem with the Mayavadi philosophy. It's illogical, it's
very
irrational.
Confusing.
One wonders why so many people are subscribing to it, why, all the while it's so illogical and so absurd. But the reason is very simple, because it says we are God. And this is very deeply embedded in the psyche of the conditioned soul. Therefore, that's why we are here. When we hear that we are God, we're going for it. Of course, I always knew I'm God. But if you hear, oh, you're just a simple servant of God, insignificant, then we are like, I don't know.
Like this.
I don't know about that. I don't like this. I prefer to be God. Can I be God? And then Prabhupada says, somebody told him, I am God, right? Prabhupada says, no, you're a dog. And that's what we don't like.
Yeah, because being God means you'll be able to enjoy as you like and control, and you don't have to follow the rules of material existence.
Yeah, you make your own rules.
So it's very palatable situation, yes, for
A
the
very good proposal for a materialist.
for conditioned soul.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the problem.
It's like the story with the demigods who wanted to know Brahman, absolute truth, and then Brahma showed them a mirror, and then they looked at the mirror and they saw themselves, and then the demons were very happy. Oh, I'm the absolute truth. I'm this body. I'm what I see. Of course, and they were very happy. But demigods were not happy. They had the doubt, so they came back, and then Brahma then gave them spiritual knowledge, the knowledge about the soul. But the demons, they were like, psh,
Not happy.
great!
They are happy.
That's a very good news. Let's go and enjoy.
Thus it is said in the text, Vikara Vishesha Yogat, from association with derivatives of Prakriti. Again, note 24. Though Shiva associates with Tamas, he is not contaminated. This is made clear in Lagu Bhagavatamrita 1-28. Shiva is without a touch of material gunas, since he is the Lord. However, the ignorant perceive him among the guna avatars to be contaminated by tamo guna. This is very important point about Lord Shiva, that although he is acting in the material world and he has direct contact with material energy, he is not influenced by material energy. He is not influenced by the material modes, and especially by tamoguna. This is wrong understanding. And this is confirmed in Lagu Bhagavatamrita 1-28. Because someone may see that, oh, Lord Shiva, he is living in such dirty places, crematoriums, and he is always surrounded by ghosts and snakes and this and that. So this obviously shows that he's in tamoguna. But actually no, he's so elevated. Shiv means auspicious. He's so elevated that he wants to give his association to the most degraded of the living entities so that they can make some spiritual advancement. So that's why he doesn't mind to hang out with ghosts and spirits and snakes and so on and so on. He's giving his mercy to anybody and everybody. Very compassionate, like in this pastime churning of the milk ocean, when the demigods and the demons were churning the ocean and the poison came, nobody could do anything. And they asked Lord Shiva, and he was so compassionate, he said, yeah, sure, I'll do the job. If you have something for me, I'll do it. So, always auspicious, always compassionate to the living entities. This is the nature of Shiva. Well-wisher of the fallen, yes. Sometimes Shiva is considered non-different from Vishnu, but those statements should be adjusted with the statement of Brahma Samhita and other texts. There are no differing statements about the final cause. Digdarshini Tika 545. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur elaborates on the topic of Shiva Tattva. The non-distinction is established by the fact that just as milk treated with acid turns into curd, so Godhead becomes a subservient when he himself attains a distinct personality by the addition of a particular element of adulteration. This personality has no independent initiative. The set adulterating principle is constituted of a combination of the stupefying quality of the deluding energy, the quality of non-plenitude of the marginal potency, and a slight degree of the ecstatic cognitive principle of the plenary spiritual potency. This is a little bit philosophical.
Yeah, technical stuff.
This specifically adulterated reflection of the principle of the subjective portion of the divinity Sadashiva, in the form of the effulgent masculine symbol God Shambhu, from whom Rudradev is manifested.
So it says here that there is adulterating element added to Krishna, to Vishnu, in the form of quality of the deluding energy, also the quality of non-plenitude of the marginal potency, and a slight degree of the ecstatic cognitive principle of the plenary spiritual potency. So these things, when they're added, they adulterate the substance of Vishnu, and then it becomes Shiva. So we just can try to appreciate these statements, and we're far from realizing, actually understanding, but that's what Shastra says, that's what Acharya says. We try to appreciate and just move on until we get better realization.
He teaches pious duties, dharma, as stepping stones to the attainment of spiritual service in the various Tantra Shastras. suitable for jivas in different grades of the conditional existence. In obedience to the will of Govinda, Shambhu maintains and fosters the religion of pure devotion by preaching the cult of illusionism, Mayavada, and the speculative Agama Shastras. The 50 attributes of individual souls are manifest in far vaster measure in Shambhu, and 5 additional attributes non-attainable by jivas are also partly found in him. So Shambhu cannot be called a jiva. He is the lord of the jiva, but yet partakes of the nature of a separated portion of Govinda. Brahma Samhita 545 purport. So Lord Shiva is teaching upadharmas, different upadharmas or stepping stones, religious principles that help people to come to the ultimate religious principle, which is pure devotional service. That's one thing he is doing. Then another thing he is doing is sometimes on behalf of the order of the Lord, he comes to preach some strange philosophy, like the Mayavadi philosophy. Why? Again, as a part of the plan of the Lord, sometimes for the sake of keeping the conditioned souls in illusion, or to help them gradually to advance, such kind of theories and philosophies have to be preached. And Lord Shiva sometimes plays this role. That's why he appears in Kali Yuga as Shankaracharya, and he spreads the Mayavadi philosophy, which apparently explains that Brahman is the absolute reality. Brahman is the ultimate truth. However, if one very carefully reads his statements and his presentations, he can actually find inside reflection of the pure religious principles, like Lord Shiva Shankara, he said, Bhaja Govinda, Bhaja Govinda, Bhaja Govinda, Muda Mate. Oh, you fools, please worship Govinda, because your knowledge and grammatical understanding, yes, will not help you at the moment of death. So what you have to do is actually worship Govinda. And it is explained that Shambhu is not jiva because he has 5 qualities which are we cannot find in the jivas. So this put him in the status of something higher. But also sometimes it is said he's not exactly in the position of Vishnu, because Vishnu has 60 qualities. So Vishnu has some qualities that even Shiva does not have. So this puts Shiva in a marginal position between the living entities and Vishnu. And yes, of course, he possesses even the qualities that the living entities have in much bigger quantity.
Larger scale.
Yes. Yes, sometimes we may hear that, okay, Lord Shiva, he is preaching some strange things, like sometimes people, they say he's preaching this tantra stuff and religious principles in the mode of ignorance. If we read somewhere that Lord Shiva is doing something like that, that means it is because one way or the other he's instrument in the universal plan of the Lord. Apart from this, Lord Shiva, he is personally practicing and propagating the real, the pure dharmic principles. And that's why in Srimad Bhagavatam he is designated as the greatest of all Vaishnavas. Vaishnavanam yata Shambhu. Nam naganam yata Ganga. From the rivers, Ganga is the greatest. Achyutanam. Devanam achyuto yataha. From the gods, Achyuti is the greatest. Vaishnavanam yata Shambhu. From the Vaishnavas, Shambhu, Shiva is the greatest. And Purananam idam tataha. From all the Puranas, Bhagavad Purana is the greatest. This is the verdict of Shastra. So that was a description of Lord Shiva. And now we have description of Kshirodakashayi Vishnu. Text 46, Kshirodakashayi Vishnu. I worship the Supreme Lord Govinda, who expands as Kshirodakashayi Vishnu through Mahavishnu and Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, who is non different from him, just as a large lamp lights up a second lamp, which lights up a third lamp, which illuminates with the same quality of light as the original lamp. Purport. According to the order mentioned before in this verse, one form of Vishnu is described, related to the description of Shiva as Guna-avatara. Vishnu is Guna-avatara. Vishnu as Guna-avatara is now described. He is considered the final cause because he is identical with the other forms of Vishnu. He is actually a portion of Govinda. A portion of Mahavishnu is Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. And his portion is Guna-avatara mentioned in this verse, Kshirodakashayi Vishnu. However, he is still to be considered to be another form of Govinda. Just as the light from a small but clean lamp, which has been lit from a main lamp through a series of other lamps, is the same as the light of the original lamp, inasmuch as the quality of light is similar. So Vishnu is the same as Govinda in respect to being Ishvara. Though the manifestation of qualities and rasa are not the same. Because Shiva is the controller of ignorance, he is like a flame from a small lamp covered with soot. Therefore, he should be understood to be dissimilar. So here we have this is from Digdarshani Tika 546. We have some comparison between the position of Lord Vishnu in comparison to the position of Lord Shiva. And Vishnu is taken to be a controller. It doesn't matter how many different expansions or manifestations of Vishnu will appear, still he is the same controller, the same Lord. And the example is given if you light a lamp which has the same expands the same amount of light as the original lamp, this lamp or this candle is considered non-different from the original one because the amount is the same. But Shiva, he is considered, he's like a flame from a small lamp covered with smooth. So he's smaller, and the amount of light that is coming out is also smaller. So from this perspective, he should be understood to be dissimilar, not exactly the same as Vishnu. Of course, our acharyas are also showing that because the light of so many other candles or lights comes from the original, so original is considered original. In this way, Krishna, he is the original of all forms of God. All of them may be considered as Ishvara, but still, to Krishna it's given special position. That's why Bhagavatam is saying, Etecham Shakala Pumsa, Krishnastu Bhagavan Svayam. He is the original original lamp from which all other lamps are started. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur further explains how Vishnu is unique with the guna avatars. The personality of Vishnu, the embodied form of the manifestive quality, sattva guna, is quite distinct from that of Shambhu, who is adulterated with mundane qualities. Vishnu's subjective personality is on a level with that of Govinda. Both consist of the unadulterated substantive principle. Vishnu in the form of the manifest causal principle is identical with Govinda as regards quality. Brahma and Shiva are entities adulterated with mundane qualities. Though Vishnu is also divine appearance in mundane quality, guna avatara, still he is not adulterated. So it's a little bit complicated to understand, because in some places, like for example for Shiva, it was explained that he is not influenced by material energy, but also Acharyas Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj is saying Brahma and Shiva are entities adulterated with mundane qualities. So they are in a special position. And Vishnu, he stays always completely pure, although he may be present in the material world. That's why he is considered non-different from the original Ishvara, Govinda. Okay, and then we are going to read one more verse, and we will stop with this today. Text 47, Karanodakashai Vishnu and Ananta Shesha. I worship the Supreme Lord Govinda, who, as Mahavishnu, enjoys Yoga Nidra in the waters of the Karna ocean, while holding unlimited universes in the pores of his skin, and lying upon the supporting energy of Shesha, another spiritual form of himself. Jiva Goswami explains that this is a description of Karanodakashai Vishnu. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur remarks, the subjective nature of Ananta, who has the form of the coach of Mahavishnu, is described. Ananta, the same, who is the infinite coach on which Mahavishnu reposes, is distinctive appearance of the divinity, bearing the name of Shesha, having the subjective nature of the servant of Krishna. So again, we said that we started with the description how all the other regions in the universe and outside the universe, they are subordinate to Goloka Vrindavan, and we're describing Devidam, and then Maheshdam, and then the position of Kshirodakashaya Vishnu was described, who is within the universe, and now we come to the spiritual world, the position of Karanodakashaya Vishnu, who is the Vishnu from which all the universes appear. He is the Vishnu who is glancing over material nature. And it is said that he is relaxing on the supporting energy of Shesha. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is explaining that this manifestation of the Lord, Sheshanaga, who is actually manifestation of Balaram, is the Supreme Lord who is having the subjective nature of the servant of Krishna. So he is also the Supreme Lord, but his mood is already not the mood of an enjoyer of the Supreme Controller, rather the mood of servant of the Supreme Controller. And this is shown in many other pastimes, how Lord Balaram is always in the mood of service in regards to Krishna. That's why it is said that he is expanding in so many different forms to serve Krishna. Like the temple is expansion of Balaram, all the instruments we are using for kirtan are expansions of Balaram, the mridanga, the kartals. And also Balaram expands as the bat of the Lord.
The umbrella, the shoes.
Sheshanaga, the shoes,
The umbrella.
the pillow, so many different manifestations. The Lord in the mood of servant of the Supreme Lord. This is the position.
Servant of Balaram.
Yes. This is the position of Balaram. And that's why it is said that Balaram actually is the Adi Guru. He is the original Guru, because also the spiritual master, this is his position. He is also known as God, Sakshat Dari, non different from God, but his position is position of service to the Supreme Lord. So he is teaching us how to properly render service, surrender our life to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, so tomorrow we will continue with text 48. Who is again description again of Karana Dakashai Vishnu. Hari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande.